working media in association with Boxro. Eddie, we've just seen the weigh-in. I'm going to jump straight into it. Conor Benn looked in terrific shape. What did you make of how he dealt with the weigh-in, and are you excited for the fight? Because his opponent looks like he's in shape as well.
Well, it's only now you hear that Orozco's actually been training for 9 weeks for another fight, and you also realise he's massive at 154. You still expect Conor Benn to deal with him, but I think it's going to be a good fight. I think Conor's in tremendous shape, as he has been for probably about a year now, or a year and a half, and excited to fight. I think he's got to try and stay calm, just listen to Tony and get the job done. But I think Orozco will really bring it, and I think it'll be a war for as long as it lasts.
I think most people online are thinking this guy's just been picked. He's got no names on his record. But I was watching him last night. He actually can really fight, and he's probably one of the better opponents Conor's fought. That's still kind of in his prime.
I'll leave it out.
I saw some content. Yeah, I watched a few of his fights. He can proper fight.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, I don't really want to hear that, to be honest with you. But at this stage, it's difficult when you're picking an opponent, because we got sent through some opponents, and I was like, come on, like. But at the same time, it's a small fight on 10 days' notice for small money, when you got one of the biggest fights in boxing available in 12 weeks. So yeah, I'll be very happy when the fight's over and Conor Benn's hands raised. But I do think it'll be a tough one.
Yeah, I just wanted to raise the point. It's not as gimme as people may think, because the guy could definitely fight. I just want to raise up yesterday. Twitter was going crazy because you called Andy a hero. Just wanted to kind of explain that, because a lot of people are, online. There was a bit of a backlash towards you. So from your point of view, why did you feel you had to kind of say that?
I just felt that like it was 6 or 7 of the same questions, the same probing, and without a kind of balanced mind or opinion about the situation. Like, I get people's opinion, but no one seems to want to acknowledge that Conor Benn won his case against UKAD and the board, and his suspension was lifted, and he's cleared to box. I even saw Chris McKenna, a journalist, saying he's not cleared to box. I don't if he's not cleared to box, he wouldn't be boxing this weekend. Now, again, we saw Robert Smith's comments. We don't feel he's cleared his name. Okay, if you feel like the process isn't to your specific liking, okay, but you still can't deny or and the one thing that is good or bad about me is I've always been accessible. You know that. I never ask you what you can and can't say. You can grill me as much as you like, and it wasn't that Andy was like going over the top, but it was just like, I don't see, and I referred to Chris Eubank against Liam Smith. There's no testing in place, right? So we get criticised because we have fighters that have had adverse findings, because we test everybody as much as we can all the time. We don't get any credit for that, but that's fine. But then when there's a big fight, like a pay-per-view fight, where there's absolutely zero additional testing, and someone asks the question and says, is there testing? And someone says, I can't comment on that because it's confidential, which you all know is complete rubbish. And then it's like, okay, moving on. It's like, whoa. I would get 5 or 6 on that. And I would stand there and answer it, and it's no problem. So, but again, I also understand that if we weren't in the position we were in, if we weren't the biggest, then we wouldn't get grilled like we do. And when I say about hero, it's because there's a very small but loud minority on social media that are very, very vocal. And you guys are under pressure to always ask probing questions, right? But it's difficult for you guys as well, because we all get on, and like sometimes people get criticised, as a matter if it's Coogan or Parsons or whatever. Oh, you're just like his mate. Well, we are kind of mates, but it shouldn't stop you from asking questions. All I ask is a balanced mindset and opinion to say, okay, well, Conor Benn went through a process with the board and he won. That's not even like, oh no, hang on, there's an appeal. So no, there might be, by the way, but what about the other bit? Oh yeah, he won. Yeah, but he wasn't cleared. It's like, no, he's fucking been cleared. I don't like. You have to just look at both sides. You can have your opinion about if you're happy with that or not happy with it, but you can't let that affect your questioning. And if you're going to grill me, make sure you grill everybody else as well.
That's a fair point. The only question I've got for you is, like I was asking the people on Twitter, what is the main concern? And the two things that they're basically saying is that they feel that the accounts were changed, and it was one thing once and then it was another thing, and then they're also suggesting that you were against VADA testing, saying they weren't testing properly, and then now obviously you're paying them for the testing. So just your response to the people that say that.
I've been against VADA.
With the way they do the testing.
No, I've never criticised the way that VADA do their testing. There's a procedure, it's called a chain of command, from when a sample is collected to when it is tested in the laboratory. And that is followed, and sometimes that chain of command is broken, or it's, I'm not saying in this case, but that's for CONOR BENN defence. And when he went through the science, that science and that investigation has been going on for a year, and that evolves. Do you know what I mean? And if you look at the article in the Times, you will see a lot of the reasoning behind the science and the explanation as to why trace elements of this were found in him. So that will continue to evolve because people are still looking into it. And there's a lot of other organisations looking into the same substance because of the same problems they're receiving as well. So we're not changing it. I don't criticise VADA. I criticise the British Boxing Board of Control because I think they've handled the whole thing terribly. I think we've handled it poorly at times. I think CONOR BENN's handled it poorly at times. And we use all those experiences to try and be better. But, you know, the fact is that when he went through the procedure with the WBC and they reinstated him in the rankings, everyone said he needs to have a hearing with UCAD. And he did.
Will it all eventually come out where everyone will be able to just read the report and fully see
I think
what
so.
the reasons
CONOR would like that. I mean, the UCAD confidentiality is not something that CONOR BENN put in place. It's their position. And that report is available. A lot of that was disclosed in that article. And, you know, I think he would like that to be released because he's talking now about clomiphene and other fighters and other athletes testing positive. I think he would like to be an advocate for a change in that because other people are going to lose their careers, people are going to lose their livelihood by potentially being completely innocent.
My last question on this matter, I won't ask you again until there's any new developments, but let's just say if NADP overturn the decision and go back to what they originally said and they keep the suspension, are you concerned for the potential damage you may cause your way for obviously having this fight tomorrow?
No, not at all, because when you're not suspended and you're cleared to fight, you can fight. If they did overturn it, he can't fight. And I don't think we'd be looking to box him when he was suspended. And I know for a fact that the ABC, Texas and Florida would have not allowed him to fight if he was suspended. So if the board were to win an appeal, if it ever happens, then I think it's a completely different situation. He's not actually allowed to box, really, specifically in that territory, but very likely that other commissions would follow suit.
And have you spoken to Prince Khalid? Is there any update from them? Are they going to continue boxing, or do you not know anything?
No, I've spoken to him a few times. I mean, you know, he's got a lot going on, and you know, I'm sure he'll make some comments soon, or maybe not. He's had a good run in boxing. I don't see him leaving the sport of boxing. I think he loves the sport of boxing. So we'll see what happens in the future.
Eddie, thank you for your time.
Cheers.